Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, master of propaganda, heroes like defender of the fatherland. I hope you got yourself some nice drink and perhaps some snacks here, because this is going to be a long one, an hour-long episode, so no mid-game analysis, but we're going in here, and it's going to be exciting. We got here in the east, Panzersniper, fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland. Fighting here for the Panzer versus in the west, we've got Henkajumper fighting for the Commonwealth, for the United Kingdom, for King George and the British Empire. Rolling out here with the Guards Armour Division, we've got here Commander Regiment, Tactical Support and Royal Engineers versus Osttruppen. The Panzer apparently not quite there immediately, and throwing in some Hilfswillige or possibly some Hungarian infantry into the fight first. Possibly Hungarian infantry, which did fight a bit on the Western Front, where some elements removed from the main army, in particular I believe after the German army essentially took over the Hungarian army, because they didn't trust the Hungarian high command and basically so just did whatever they would with the troops. In fact, I believe some Romanian elements still in that way fought for the Germans, while the main Romanian army had sort of fought for the Soviets. I'm less sure about that, but I do know Hungarians fought. Anyways, two Austrians squatting northwards, and that way Panzersniper is rapidly trying to grab as much air as he can, but at the same time not sacrificing too much combat power. Though he's going to need an MD-42, I think, to sort of really make it work. Henkajumper there with 3 sections, adding in a lot of infantry as well. A bit more combat ready than the Osttruppen, under most circumstances. We also got trenches going down here. That's a bit rare to see here, but he's actually digging trenches around his vital fuel point, making it hard, of course, for the Germans to attack it, but also easier for him to defend it. Jolly good, though again, very rare, very rare. This is certainly already starting to look a bit of a different fight there. Running also bulletins are infantry, machine guns and mines, and a bit of anti-tank guns as well for the Brits, but there we go, first engagement, quickly popping into the trench, ready to defend it, for king and country. Also coming southwards, a few shots there from the trench. Some poor bastard drops there in the snow. They're also moving in, they might try and make a rush for the house, but so are the British, and looks like they'll make it first right here. Panzersniper's first push there's rather been halted by stalwart British men fighting against the Hun. In this case, possibly literally Hungarians. Though technically Hungarian infantry wouldn't encounter as Osttruppen. We have to use our imagination a bit until Relic actually adds actual Hungarian troops in, which could possibly work. Perhaps not quite as a fully independent faction, though the Hungarians probably would be the best suited Axis faction for that, by the way. But at least, you know, possibly some doctrines there, sort of throwing in some Hungarian support elements. Meanwhile, though, we got Osttruppen moving in here, sneaking in, grabbing the centre victory point with the British. Meanwhile, pushing up here against the Osttruppen, trying to fall back, trying to use cover there, but the sections are basically moving in there, doing some good damage there, making use of their own cover bonuses, which rule superior since they get rid of fire, which basically means out of cover they just shoot slowly, whereas the Osttruppen basically can't hit the broadside of a barn from the inside unless they are in cover. There we go, flank. In this case the cover bonus doesn't quite be fully applying there, but still doing some good damage. The Osttruppen are slowly dropping dead here, and of course flanking them pretty much denies them the defensive advantage of cover. In this case, of course, also important to note here, light cover pretty much just makes them harder to hit. It doesn't sort of make them harder to kill, so in that sense, that really turned ugly there. Osttruppen pushed away sections, overall only lost 1 man each. That was a pretty good decision engagement there for Henkajumper. And meanwhile, he's going straight for the cop one. He's got a Vickers machine gun as well, ready to dig in. Really nasty work here. So while he's been keeping Panzersniper occupied in the north, he's also been going straight for the cut-off point, though he is leaving his own territory there, a bit of the rear line, a bit of defenseless. Infantry coming up, bunker up, no sign of an MD-42 there for Panzersniper, no defensive, sort of real defensive holding ground element. And he's going for a trench on the cut-off point. Good lord, that's been some time since we've seen the British go for that kind of play, but there Henkajumper is, going for the opponent's cut point, successfully securing it, and putting down a trench in it. Cheeky bastard. Like to make a nice company, not entirely finished, possibly because he's reacting here desperately to the trenching of his cut-off point, and they're losing access to fuel. Meanwhile, though, he's got Osttruppen to continue to harass behind enemy lines, that way he's not trying to let himself be too... That looks like he realised what he made a mistake there, perhaps. Either way, though, he's trying to not completely fall into Henkajumper's pace, and he's still sort of harassing Ultras. Let's go right here. British rushing straight for the trench, and there we go. The Osttruppen in a bit of a bad situation. They can't even take the point now, since they can contest the point within the trench. And the Osttruppen, they're getting absolutely murdered there. Section's doing somewhat alright, but the hostile here behind the heavy cover is doing some damage there. Just not cut fully alright, but still he is denying the CoH on there to the German player. Meanwhile, going for the CoH on himself. Section counter-attacking. We got one there with medic supplies up, opening up. We already got tech up here for Henkajumper. It's already upgraded for the Scout cut as well. So also here now holding up 2 sections. Not too bad, but casualties are quickly piling up there for the fatherland. I'd like to make a nice company up. Panther going to do a scout. Oh, double scout cars. Alright. Looks like the Panzer there is finally sending in something a bit more than Hungarian infantry and a single pioneer unit to the front. They are unleashing their armoured cars. There we go, Ostrom run off, not in a single casualty there to the British. Well done for Henkajumper, quickly healing up the men, though they need to stand still. They have to do the Macarena to heal up, as I like to call it, since it just looks, oh, although it can apparently just take some time to activate. Fancy that. All the way, we got the first scout car up there. Now he's digging his own trench at the core point, so he can hold it and deny to the enemy at the very least. At the same time, Henkajumper is getting his own scout car. This is definitely getting unusual in some senses. Scout cars versus scout cars, trenches versus trenches. A warped mirror match, if you will. Though Henkajumper does have the machine guns, Panzersniper for their reasons has yet to go there. But there you go, we got the second scout car. That's a patrol there of 2 scout cars, like the punchy speed wagons, which would like there by 1944-1945 been replaced by the 250 half-tracks converted into armoured cars. At that point there are other elements, since the 222, while handy in some ways, was a rather old design based on a civilian car, by the way, fun fact, and overall not very suited for off-roads. And he's actually going for a third scout car. 3 222s versus an AC. Is this planned or what is this? Panther valves there from the heroic Ostrom, damaging the engine. They've got Sabres nearby ready to support, but there you go, we got scout cars. They could try and strike it at the same time. They're going for the CoH, using Panzersniper's trench against him. Oh, Henkajumper, you cheeky bastard. Section there getting absolutely pummeled by armoured car cannons and pioneers of the Flammenwerfers. And there we go, we got the third 222 out. Now that is a rare sight. 3 armoured cars in the same match at the same time versus an AEC there. I mean, Henkajumper might actually need a second scout car track to face off against all of that. And the thing is, of course, the scout cars there in terms of fuel, they actually are still cheaper than one AC. That's 50 fuel for that one, plus, I believe, yes indeed. Of course, manpower-wise, it's a bit more expensive. About, I think, twice as much. But still, he's got 3 there, which can infuse and do a lot of damage if well handled. Of course, they do quite a bit more management, but still, this is certainly something out of the unusual. And there we go, the British find themselves surrounded by scout cars. And there we go, 2-2 getting hammered. There we go, the rear armour buckling under the repeated assault there of the 222s. Their autocannons hammering, firing away. Surrounded, smoke there slowly lifting, revealing itself completely in deep trouble. And there we go, wiped out here by the 222s. No chance of survival there. 6-pounder gun away for Henkajumper, and until they deal with this, getting raked here by the Vickers K machine guns covering the base there. Lots of damage there. Panzer was a bit too slow to go away. Need to pull them back for repairs. Still, that's really a rare sight, to be honest. There you go, section being caught here by a very vicious armoured car patrol. So, oh dear, sliver of health left, and he gets away. Needs to pull back for repairs, so he's got additional pioneers arriving to support. 6-pounder gun almost there. Sliver of health. The only thing that's keeping that thing going is schnapps and stale bread. Possibly excerpts from Mein Kampf. I mean, the enemy just needs to sneeze at it and it's dead. Oh no, he got stuck. The driver had too much schnapps. And dead. But the other 222s, they escape. Oh, they've not been ordered to shoot at infantry. I have no idea why I would do that, though. Can't imagine the chaps driving it knows either the cover is quickly faltering there beneath the repeated heavy fire of the 222s. There you go, almost wiping the entire section. 6-pounder gun with section support. These already bolted section there. Henkajumper going out. No doctrine though. Panzersniper, I think, should consider some officers there to support his troops. I mean, they are quite good, in particular when the officer hits veterans of fleet. His concentrated fire bonus becomes really good. Meanwhile, Ostrom holding up the trench there. He's actually got a machine gun out there now to support his men. Good, except he's now splitting up from his men. Ostrom moving ahead here, straight into mine. Losses suffered. Section it, firing away. Mad minute on the way there against the Ostrom. No trenches, little cover. Firing away with their Lee Enfield rifles. 6-pounder gun moving about there. Trench not being dealt with, just there that. And Panzersniper is now actually getting snipers. Interesting decision there. Ostrom pushed away before 2 grabbing territory up to the north. Very bold move there by Panzersniper. Very bold move, but so far seems to be working out. We got sapper sections and such there for Henkajumper. No upgrades for the men as yet besides the bolts. No Bren guns, for example. No additional armoured cars, or no attempt at taking up. Caches could also work out. And there you go, repairing the 222s, fixing up the ones that survived, in remembrance of the one who had a bit too much schnapps. Ostrom continues to remain here, heroically guarding the cut-off point, to ensure that history does not repeat itself. Still, rare you see such trench play in a 1 versus 1, even I think any other games. This is amazing, plus 3 222s. Oh dear. This match is certainly standing out already in many ways. Ostrom up and engaging the Vickers section there, firing away. Car 90Ks boring into the Vickers crew force on the way down south there. 222 moving in to engage the section there. Rapidly dispersing them with heavy fire. And slowly closing on their T2, which makes them a bit more lethal there with increased accuracy. Ostrom setting out. In the centre, sniper supporting Ostrom's squad there. The Ostrom basically just drawing the fire line, the sniper to pick out the targets and deal with them. And in response, we've got a sniper. We also got a mortar emplacement up here for Henkajumper. Mortar emplacement, very good precision there. A lot of British players like to use it. There you go, mortar firing down the Ostrom, ensuring they can't actually remain there very long unless they fancy an early grave. So, of course, how will Panzersniper deal with this threat? One option could be going for a mortar half, oh, not mortar half track, flame for a half track, burning away, plus the section start there. So it's got double pioneer section moving up there, Panzer Pioniere moving forwards. Meanwhile, the Oz 222s are not moving to support, at least immediately they're dealing with the trench there tonight to Henkajumper, and so he's got no easy spot there to pop into. Trying to get into the building, in this case, sections deny it. Burning away there at the mortar emplacement. Sappers moving in, sectors moving in, desperately trying to defend. There you go, got the building, that won't last long. 222s trying here to deal. There you go, Pioneers first dealing with the 6-pounder gun. 222 taking a nasty hit there from the 6-pounder gun, delivering death, and the 222 to the realm beyond. A loss there for Panzersniper, leaving him now with only 1 armoured car. Section moving up there, Vickers supporting, snipers moving in there, desperately trying to knock it out, but in this case, he might have just paid a price a bit too high there. Pioneers and scout cars, and he could risk losing the other scout car there if he's not careful. He's really trying to do it. He's actually tank through it now with the brace structure on cooldown. He might just be able to do it. There he goes, there with help, but no! Gets through the thin armour of the 222, knocking it out there. Moments before the mortar emplacement would have to crumble. Damn close there. Sniper pulling back. He's getting a second sniper now. He's not getting any sort of more heavier infantry, no panzer grenadiers, which, you know, with Ostrom like this, you rather need some panzer grenadiers, or even an officer, to make them work a bit better. Instead, he's actually getting another 222 as well. Not, for example, a Flampanzerwagen, which again would work great versus the mortar emplacement, but also versus the infantry and in this sort of induct, you know, machine guns and buildings and the likes. So, I don't know. Bit of a curious choice there for Panzersniper. We'll of course have to see how it works. I mean, so far things have worked out pretty interestingly, but definitely not the choices I would have made. Also, should note both of these players are top 100, so they've definitely got some interesting ideas for such high-ranked players. And there you go. He's actually getting a second armoured car. Rare again to see any player go for that many armoured cars. I mean, that's 4 armoured cars for the Germans, 2 for the British. Sadly, not 2 British armoured cars at the same time. I think that could have been quite potent. But still, I mean, 4 armoured... No, that's actually 5... No, 6 armoured cars, yeah, actually, all in all. is a bit of a rare sight in any fight there. So I mean, this already makes this battle stand out somewhat, to be honest. But there you go, hunting down the sniper. There you go, catching the sappers as well. Looks like he decides on them. Almost got a wipe. They almost got a wipe. Taking heavy fire though from the Vickers. And the section of North need to pull back the 2-2. Sandy does not have a dog and allows smoke to be popped. And he's got no mortar to pop smoke either. If he is going to end up losing the 2-2 there. Still though, Panzersniper has otherwise, besides, you know, this slightly peculiar force, which we wouldn't say is quite... I mean, it's focused to some extent on doing damage, but not quite much in holding ground. We could have some problems there in the longer run. But it's interesting. There we go. Got the Vickers, and there we go. AC though moves in, knocks out the 2-2-2, leaving it another burning wreck here. And there's actually quite a few wrecks here. I mean, one thing that could actually be a very good idea for Henkajumper to consider, and I'm surprised he hasn't chosen a doctrine yet, would actually be tactical support, and then go for field recovery operation, allowing him to salvage all of these armoured cars for manpower and fuel. I mean, that would be a lot of resources for Henkajumper. Should have to pay off 125, I think, something like that. First off is of 150. But long term, I think, or even short term, he could gain a lot of resources in return for that. I mean, that's a lot of manpower and fuel just laying about there, which I'm sure he could recover. Which could work towards, you know, armour faster, an additional scout car at the very least. But there we go, we got the AC moving about there with a 75mm gun. Ostrom moving ahead under fire there, taking some losses. Ostrom not looking to go either. He's really pressuring hard for that mortar in place. Instead of perhaps just trying to play around it, he's focused on crushing it, but so far the resources he's throwing at it is perhaps not the most suited towards destroying the mortar in place. In that sense, he's just, well, kind of throwing manpower, perhaps while trying to figure out what he wants to do. No tag up, no Flampanzerwagen, which again would appear to me to be, you know, be one of the more fast and brutal options for doing it. And again, Gutless and the infantry, but now he would need support against it. He has brought up a Pack 40 there, the Panther up, they can only going for the fuel point again, getting munitions, laying down mine, preparing defences ahead of the battle against the Tommies. Though he should consider some telemines as well. And we go under fire. Ostrom there taking fire from the mortar and Plevner, 2 3-inch mortars. I believe they're about the same caliber as, say, a German 8cm. I think they're actually slightly less, if I'm not mistaken. S-mine's going off there. Ostrom can do a fight there. He's basically, I think, using the scout to just set off the S-mines. Again, trying to knock out the trench on his cut-off point. Finally taking out, I mean, a good Palmer core move right now, I think would do a lot there for Panzersniper. Also, that's a ton of munitions. I mean, using Ostrom and a few Pioneers, he's actually been able to build up a lot of munitions. He lost an Ostrom squad. I mean, he could easily go for a lot of mines. Lots of mines. Flampanzerwagons. Well, he's going straight for tier 4 now. I think that's a bit risky again, considering his current force composition and the losses he's taken. I mean, who knows? Panzersniper could make it work, but it's going to be risky. It's going to be risky in particular since the opponent's got armoured cars, could take up as well and go for some medium armour faster than him, and it's got a bunch of other things. So it is a bit risky there for Panzersniper, but again, he's probably feeling confident that all the territory he has, he can afford to be away a bit and still build for the heavy armour, and that way he's going to push his final way to victory. Though if he is going for it, he's going to need a lot of mines put down, and again, 500. I really missed that one. And that's a ton of munitions. He's just managed to build up again, but just relying on Ostrom and not very little else. There's been no real upgrades he's needed, and he's not really been keeping up with the mines, which again allowed him to much better hold that much territory early on. But there you go, Sapper almost wiped, but the mines were set off by the armoured car. Going in there trying to wipe the snipers, not a bad idea at all there by Panzersniper to be on. Not Panzersniper, but Henkajumper. Veterans run there for the armoured car, 11 kills. There you go, Pack 40 covering the retreat of the snipers, the Osthoppen. Popping smoke there. A cloud envelops the AC, blocking line of sight there, the Pack 40.
The enemy. We are losing a sector.
You could also consider bunkers if you wanted to, but mines I think is sort of the better idea. I think some aggressive mine laying could quite well there, just to throw off his opponent if anything. But no, he keeps pushing for that mortar in place. In that sense, the mortar ends up perhaps in the sense doing more damage, not on its own, but basically just by drawing the Germans towards it, like moths towards a flame. If the moths were actually trying to destroy the flame, and there were other flames supporting the flame against the moths. Yeah, that became a really belaboured metaphor, but you get the point. Pioneer's almost wiped. That's going to need another replacement. Pioneer, Pack 40 up now. Pioneer's wiped. Pack 40 missed the AC there. I things really done good work there for Henkajumper and the Guards Army. Section there forced away as Ostrom with sniper support moves forwards, crossing the cold, unforgiving snow. Moving forwards für Deutschland. Wir müssen die Briten zerstören, schnell!
A squad of pioneers has arrived.
And more pioneers. And he is, by the looks of going for the heavy Panzer Corps, very bold there, though I definitely think he needs to do something in those munitions. Well, I guess he might have been saving up for this, I suppose. I mean, that's one way of doing it. Calling in the biggest artillery you can possibly imagine. There you go, in fact, he is going for it. Right on the trench by the fuel point. That trench is no more. Some heavy German artillery there, very heavy artillery supporting there, railway artillery support. You might got to push for the centre section for the flamethrower stone from the pioneers. Panzersniper never recovered it. Still relying largely on Ostrov. No Panzer Grenadiers, not even Grenadiers, to still try and relieve the situation on MG42 to replace the one lost to the Tommies. And go rushing for the fuel point there, ever keeping up the pressure on Henkajumper, though Henkajumper of course is now more than eager to return the favour against Harry Hahn. Sniper Ostrom setting out, heavy Panzer Corps. Panther might be a good idea initially. Ostrom being hunted down here by the AAC, halfway to Vet 22. Almost got a full wipe there, again. There we go. Dead! Lancers keep piling up here for Panzersniper. And again for the cop on there, forced to wait, but now without a trench of their own, they had to rely on the less solid German trench. Several of them are writhing, hoping to escape this Teutonic-made tomb of dirt, mud, and sauerkraut. And he's going for a Panzerwerfer. In an interesting decision now by Panzersniper. I mean, he certainly keeps going for a lot of moves I would not go for. But damage entry in the AC. Also in a bit of trouble. Killed their own! Kill one of their own, allowing the Germans to finish off the unit. Sorry about that, you looked awfully German there for a moment. We're not wearing the same uniforms! You do! No! Oh wait, railway artillery now trying to shatter the mortar emplacement. Mostly seems to be hitting next, but in fact he aimed for the house first, which does deny the house there. So now he's relying on luck for a shell to actually hit the mortar emplacement. So far, none of that. In fact, that one's close to hitting his own troops. I mean, he's basically managed to remove a lot of the cover here for Henkajumper, though Henkajumper can just lay down trenches and sandbags if he wants to. He might set Vickers moving northwards, grabbing the territory there, and got the Panzerwerfer moving ahead. Panzersniper really needs some infantry, and again, I do think you should consider the officer. AC moving in, Panzerwerfer unleashes a full barrage. Striking at the mortar emplacement, knocking it out. Finally, at the same time, Teleman's going down there. I mean, he's expended a lot of his munitions all of a sudden there. And the Pack 40 there being overwhelmed by AC and sappers and a section. Handing it over there. And there he goes, calling in artillery. I think he's not calling it directly on the Pack 40, but even then he might just be able to get away there. It's going to be close. It's going to be close. Another full-on artillery barrage there from Panzersniper. Really calling in everything he's got there at the British opponent. Now he can get a Panther. I just wish he'd call up some Panther Grenadiers at this point. Still, he's got most of the map though. He's got most of the map there in that regard. Henkajumper, I think, should consider dispatching. He needs some troops sort of harassing the south. I still think he should choose a doctrine. We've been beyond the 20-minute mark. At this point, now most of the wrecks have been wrecked. I mean, still, tac support field recovery operation I think could help. There's still a few scout cars there that could be salvaged. And who knows what else might be coming there down the road. Otherwise, Commander would still be good as well. Assault, Commandos, smoke raid operation, mortar cover. Royal Engineer, I don't think we'll have so much to use for him now, but we'll of course have to see what he ends up going for. Pioneers versus Sappers. Snipers falling to the Pioneers, giving them the upper hand here. And there we go. Wipes the Sapper section in a matter of a moment. There we go, we got the AC. Opening up, sending the Pioneers scurrying away. Panther almost done there for the Panzer Panzer Division. named so because it was formed out of instructional crews from different training units across Germany and, well, the Reich, essentially, since they placed a lot of them sort of throughout all of their conquered territories, but essentially formed out of the best instructors and sort of display personnel. Although, in a sense, it wasn't uncommon before that for the Germans actually make smaller units of that basically to update the curriculum at the different sort of training schools. They would then usually form up sort of a small layer battalion to be sort of, attached to a frontline unit, and that way, update things and sort of get a bit of a hand of things. That was rather the German way. And even the SS had their own Lehr battalion, and for example, some fights might have a SS Panzer Panzergrenadier battalion, not SS Lehr Panzergrenadier, something like that. Anyways, so much to keep track of. Even as we got fighting here going on. But fun fact there, I mean, you probably didn't even know that about the whole Lehr unit, and so not that the SS had their own, and they never formed a full SS Panzer Lehr division, though they had small battalions here and there. Pioneers on the way, units being lost there, Pack 40 wiped out. The snipers are definitely proving helpful here for Panzersniper. But again, I do think infantry's a bit of a gap he needs to fill up. But right now he's got the arm advantage over Henkajumper, though he should be careful with the AEC, that can still do a lot of damage to him if he's not careful. He's got Teg up, and he's actually going for Hammer, so he might be playing straight for Comets. Interesting. AC taking a hit there for the Panther falling back, but at the same time got a hit off on the Panther. That's bold. 6 Pounder gun moving back, getting another one. Sniping about here. Very little infantry and very little tactic crew, the weapons left about. Popping smoke, Panther's going to need some repairs and tactics here as it links up with the Pioneers. Once more cutting off, and once more we see the Panzersniper again dominating the map for a rather staggered and battered force. Yeah, he's doing it, but it's increasingly, I feel, becoming a struggle for him, and he's lacking time for quick, to finalise this sort of, iron grip. And for that, I do think he needs some infantry and some MG42s. By the way, we got the Panzersniper here unleashing a barrage straight on the section. Gets a few kills there. AC almost done. He might prepare for a counterattack to try and dislodge the Panther from his cut-off point there. Sections, Vickers, armoured car, 6 Pounder guns, Pioneers moving ahead. Careful there with the Panther exposing his rear armour. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And we got doctrinal choice. It is tactical support, tactical support. 6 Pounder guns only on the rear of the Panther. Pull it away, Panzersniper, and we got artillery cover down as well, knocking out the Panther. Smoke screen going down there around the armoured car. Hitting out after other units, forcing, I think, a complete collapse of Panzersniper's elements there. Panther wreck though. Is it still there? Definitely then, I think, should consider the field recovery operation. Again, it would allow him to gain resources out of the Panther. Meanwhile though, Panzersniper is getting a second Panther. And we've got the armoured car down there. Probably a mine laid down previously by Panzersniper, who's now also short on munitions. Still very short on infantry. Got more artillery raining down there from the artillery cover. The British laying down everything here in support of the Guards' armour against the Huns. And there he goes, he's finally getting some infantry. He's getting Grenadiers though. I would have rather seen some Panzer Grenadiers, but I suppose one can't have everything. Pack 40 hanging about. Sappers. He's just getting more regular ones. He's not considering the field recovery ones, which again would allow him to salvage all of this for manpower and fuel. I definitely think that's a massive missed opportunity there by Henkajumper then. Since again that could actually give him a resource advantage over Panzersniper. At least just briefly enough to perhaps overwhelm him with armour. All the way we got the Panther rolling ahead. There's second one, Panzerkampfwagen 5, Panzer. 80mm of sloped armour, 50mm of less sloped armour on the sides, and thinner rear armour further that. Also rather mechanically unreliable, and many times that perhaps less than 50% Panthers functioning in a battalion, most would be up because of mechanical difficulties. In fact, they're less reliable than the King Tiger, and usually that's what people think of when they think of something like heavily over-engineered, unreliable tank. They think the King Tiger, but that was actually more reliable than the Panther. Meanwhile, lost from the Pioneers, probably going straight against the Vickers. Henkajumper realising the situation is pretty bad, falls back. Blitzkrieg. Firefly! And straight into mine! Oh dear, we've got pioneers nearby ready to fix it up. Wir brauchen Pioniere, schnell! Snipers opening up and then 6-pounder guns clipping away. Cromwell on the way here, Henkajumper desperately throwing in armour to stem the German tide. Nice hit there, could see the sappers pushed away, they're almost wiped. More sappers moving up.
Enemy threatening a capture point.
And wipes the sniper. Panzersniper pushed his luck too far there. Oh dear, and he still needs to recruit some of those weapons. I mean, he could definitely benefit from Vickers, but also just getting some damage from anti-tank guns. Grenadiers pulling out there for the Panzer. Cancels the Cromwell. Looks like he's going for another Comet. Another Comet. More Grenadiers on the way for Panzersniper. Panzer moving ahead here, close going to veteran 2-1. Rationing behind him, nice little response there from Panzersniper. As of yet, 6-pounder gun sections moving ahead. Going to finish those sandbags by the central victory point teams.
We are losing a sector.
Getting some light machine guns for the Grenadiers. Panzer firing away. Straight for the 6-pounder gun, but misses terribly. Section under fire from the Panther. Dropping the flamethrower too. That's unfortunate. He's not retreating. Looks like there's too much going on here for Henkajumper. We could see the Panther get a wipe there with its machine guns. Another push for Grenadiers now engaging, but there we go. We got a large tide of sappers, Sten guns raised at the Huns, just tearing through Jerry, sending them running. That's a lot of Sten guns. The Sten gun itself is a submachine gun of dubious quality amongst the soldiers. They apparently had some worth, as you can actually find some German soldiers who actually prized it over their own submachine guns, because they could use the Sten gun while laying down the MP40 due to the way its magazine was positioned was a bit more problematic, and there was no issue with ammunition since the Sten gun was designed to use 9mm parabellum, that is German ammunition. It's a little fun fact there.
The enemy is attempting to steal
Reinforcing.
our sector.
Sappers setting out. Getting Grenadiers there.
The Pioneers has arrived.
Veteran do 2. And with the cover bonus that they get, they can actually decimate the Grenadiers up close. I mean, the Sappers are actually pretty tough troops with a bit of veterancy and their bolted sections. Which again would highlight perhaps why Panzersniper should consider some Panzer Grenadiers, and I think an officer, so that way you stand a bit of better chance against all of these Sappers. Henkajumper though still needs to consider field recovery operation, and a part of me thinks he should get an armoured carrier, universal carrier, and designate a command vehicle to support his Comet tank, so that way give it some boost there. Plus any troops nearby. I think that could do a lot there for Henkajumper as well. Always number 7 running here by the Comet tank. Veterans run there for the Panzerwerfer. Henkajumper really needs to push out against Panzersniper though. I mean, Panzersniper still got most of the map here. Victory points wise, he's also leading. Vickers, rifle grenades going off there, Comet moving down south, Grenadiers sent running. 6-pounders and Pack 40s here. Henkajumper now with a sizable anti-tank arm against the Germans. Panzersniper though with the... well, not quite the arm advantage. He's got the Panther, which overall performs better versus arm, but the Comet is pretty close to able to just take the Panther on directly, and of course he's got the artillery advantage with the Panzerwerfer. On the other hand, Henkajumper's got a lot of anti-tank guns, and he's got more infantry. In that sense, Panzersniper needs more troops, more infantry. In that sense, I do think the Panzer Grenadiers again would have a nice effect. In particular, once they get a bit of veterancy, they should definitely be able to give the British a headache. Oh! Sniper in a pretty bold position there. Tried to hide in the crater, did not work out. There's the Comet. There you go. Panther opens up. Misses. Comet shoots back. Bounces off the front arm of the Panther. Up north we've got Pioneers here versus the Sappers there. Fire versus Stens. Will Panzersniper actually go for a second Panther? Is he planning some extra infantry? I mean, he's got plenty of resources for either option, or perhaps a mix of them. But Comet up there, quickly striking towards the north. Not going to engage the Panthers, they're going to look for some squishy targets where it can dominate. And there we go, we got the Panther moving in, engaging the Comet, there we go. Penetrating hit, Comet though failed. Grabbing the southern victory point there, laying down mines as well. Good job there by Henkajumper. Mine spotted. Panzersniper making good use of minesweepers as well to avoid any senseless losses in the fight against the Tommies. And there we go, another Panther with a barrage. Always trying to silence the anti-tank guns, the biggest threat to his Panther at the moment, besides the Comet. Just there's a lot more anti-tank guns in the Panther, clear that. And there he goes, actually going for a second Panther. His infantry arm is still, I think, rather weak. In the meanwhile, though, he's building up the armour there to definitely be able to dominate. I think Henkajumper, though, of course, the anti-tank guns will still be a worry. In particular, were to combine it with another to recover. Though it is expensive, but it is quite effective. Mines going down there for Henkajumper in the south as well. Snipers further ending the lives of British servicemen. There you go, Pioneers in the fire. Almost with one the Comet. Sapper section moving forward. Pioneers are able to assist and halt the Tommy Tide. Second Panther almost done there for Panzersniper. Lot of heavy armour on the other end of the scale. It's sort of a bit interesting. There's been no sort of real medium armour in between. There's just been lots of scout cars, and then into the end armour like Panthers and Comets.
Panther ready.
Quick repairing, and of course also opening up there for emergency war speed, allowing the Comet there to blitz behind the tanks, in particular probably support it. You could also right now consider a forward observation post, though there's not really much left to set it up with. Most of them blown to bits by either the British or the Germans. Sab's being cut apart here, trying to attack across negative ground, but still keeping at it. Two Panthers there. A formidable armoured presence of the Panzer.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
So how shall Panzersniper use this overwhelming element of German armour? We also got Grenadiers on the way there for Panzersniper third squad there. Probably equipped them with light machine guns as well. Still no Panzer Grenadiers, which would allow them to save munitions up for other elements, like say mines. There we go. Comet now being faced off with the Panthers. Can't quite handle that. He even chucked a mine at the Grenadier, grenade at the Grenadiers, not a mine. Pioneers of sappers getting cut down by the looks of it, going for the fuel pond again. Constant aggressive harassment towards Henkajumper's fuel. He's really doing what he can to ensure he's got sort of a constant fuel advantage over Henkajumper. I mean, he's really determined towards that, and so certainly that's probably what helped him make this strategy of going straight for tier 4, skipping tier 3. Work for Panzersniper, but again, it has its risk there, and he's still near striking, so I think still maintain map control. In fact, Henkajumper now with an armour, he's actually pushing back here, since overall, alongside the tank, he's got more anti-tank guns, he's got more infantry. So in that sense, Panzersniper is struggling to maintain that control. Whoa, what is this? We actually got a supply drop zone being set out around the munitions points, and now Panzersniper is building up for more munitions. Meanwhile, engaging in the centre. Interesting. Rare sight again. Oh dear, Panther exposed there. Comet using the commander there to actually see farther, getting a good rear hit there on the Panther. Another excellent hit there from the Comet commander. Daring chap clearly. Victory point then guided by Grenadiers. Comet rushes forward this time. Oh, no! Panther now is trying to push through for something in the south there, but I'm not entirely sure what he's doing here. But he's exposing himself though to hits there from the Comets and who knows what else. Nothing further going on there in Panzersniper's base. No, now the Panthers moving forwards again. What is Panzersniper thinking? Meanwhile, pushing the North Pioneer, supported by Grenadiers, section there being overwhelmed. Ralph Grenadier, I think, no, never mind, not needed. And there we go, we're going to attack for the South. Sappers supporting a Comet. Sniper sent running. Panther awaiting repairs. Comet just rushing through the South. They're Grenadiers right there. Don't even try to sort of panzer faster damaging, you know, makes it perhaps a better chance of escaping. I think that could be a fatal mistake right there by Panzersniper, but then again, considering all he's running into, chance of something like minimal. There you go, Panther begins to try and save the day, but Now enough, and the Grenadiers falls. His life spent. He's using it to actually call in artillery here. Even in death, his sacrifice was not entirely in vain. Meanwhile, even as all this is happening in the south, he's again pushing in the north. I mean, Panzersniper really just keeps up the pressure despite having a smaller force, and Henkajumper despite having a larger force. He isn't quite, gaining the full extent of map control in comparison to Panzersniper. That's actually a sort of interesting difference there to note. I mean, Panzersniper just through more aggressive tactics, sort of just pushing back, but Henkajumper, despite having a larger force, isn't quite getting there. So I just think there's some Henkajumper could improve upon a bit. And again, there's a weakness here, there's a flaw there in Panzersniper again. That's the infantry so far. But they're going to gain the Comet. We got Blitzkrieg! We got Blitzkrieg! Actually using it, but at the same time we got emergency warspite trying to escape, but the Blitzkrieg continues. Second Panther moving ahead here. Following up, blitzing right past the anti-tank. It's not holding up there. Ignoring them, in fact, there. Using the road there to speed ahead. Trying to hunt down the Comet. Comet trying to escape here. A few hits there, but they go pulling behind the building. In this case, actually showing the anti-tank guns cannot support it. A mistake here, I think, by Henkajumper trying to draw it, but at the same time the building, there we go, almost got it. Comet down. Panther escapes. Successful raid there against Henkajumper, right past his anti-tank defences, making use of the Panther's armour and speed to minimise damage and exposure time versus the anti-tank guns. Well played there by Panzersniper. This was definitely one for the books there. Some players to learn from. I mean, a lot of players just sort of trying to stop it and blast out, but he just went straight past them. He didn't care. He had a target, he went for it. He tried to realise that the Panther's two strengths, some of the strengths, armour and again speed, to just minimise the exposure against the anti-tank guns. Instead of trying to clear him out again, he just went for the target he wanted to and then tried to get away, and he succeeded. Well done there. Really well done. So few players try to even do that. I mean, they get just, they see an anti-tank gun, they'll just stop up or pull back, but here, right past them. Well done. Pioneers being pushed back by a section, Panthers pulling back for repairs, though it was the less veteran one that suffered the most due to, well, not having Blitzkrieg, which could allow us to just quickly get past. Panthers have ready to unleash another barrage. Again, Panzersniper desperately holding on, getting more Grenadiers, but again, there's this complete lack of Panzer Grenadiers from Panzersniper. And also now an interesting move, Henkajumper's just gone for a regular Cromwell, not another Comet. I'm guessing he's a bit desperate here, otherwise I don't think he'd be going for a Comet, not Comet, Cromwell versus two Panthers. I mean, that's a bit undergunned, and there's still no sign, for example, of field recovery information again, which would probably more sapling, but also again means for salvaging and recovering resources. Got the one Panther sitting out there, the more veteran Panther crew under Lieutenant Dietrich of Baden-Baden. Again there with the Cromwell with its high velocity 75mm gun, tearing through the Cromwell's armour. Nothing compared to the Krupp-Stil of the Panther.
Pioneers ready for assignment.
Growing points here. Henkajumper now beginning to focus more on the victory point. He's less than 100 versus Panzersniper still in 14. So I mean, he's about time he realised he needs to hold a bigger part of the map there, to be honest. And it's probably also the time he can do it, because again, Panzersniper has very few infantrymen and little sort of other elements to sort of support them properly. He's got two Panthers, but they didn't quite fully work versus infantry, so if Henkajumper plays his cards correctly, he can actually sort of get away with trying to bleed out Panzersniper.
Forces are securing our territory.
He's also about to get ready for another artillery cover mission if necessary. So while Panzersniper is certainly bleeding away, he's lacking the force to really bleed him out and to also hold territory. He needs to do one of those things, I think. For that, I think he needs more proper infantry, Panzer Grenadiers or something like that. Perhaps an MG-42. Normal Grenadiers are being hunted down and retreat by the Cromwell. Panther sitting out. Other Panther. Where's the other Panther actually? Oh, back at base. There you go. Saving the day for the Grenadiers. Catching the Cromwell in a pretty bad position. And he's actually blitzing in this case, though, forced to turn about there. That doesn't really blitz much. Veterans one in the other Panther. And we got artillery cover on the Panther trying to cover up the retreat here. We got a 6-pounder gun ready as well. Panther almost down there. Anti-tank guns firing away. Target weak point available, but there you go with Mobile's reach there. Smoke popping down the line. The Cromwell to get away, but the Panthers still continue ceaselessly, unrelentingly, blitzkrieging. Pack 40 almost knocked out by its own artillery. Panther there getting stunned, hit there. Gun injured, almost got the Cromwell artillery gun, almost hitting the British infantry again. Cromwell almost down, more smoke, more artillery. Absolute madness as there's a wild pursuit under Henkajumper's artillery cover. Panther almost down. Anti-tank guns almost getting hit by an artillery. There you go again, another load injured. Load really, oh, knocked out. Cromwell though almost down as well, suffering under its own artillery. Anti-tank guns getting wiped by Panzerwerfer fire. Cromwell trying to get away. Panther in tiny repairs. That was a very dangerous engagement. Yet somehow Henkajumper managed to pull it off. He keeps just getting more sappers. Why won't he just get this and again just salvage, get more fuel that way, or at least get up some caches? Can't help but feel it's a bit weird thing he's got going now. I mean, he's in some sense again got a force that can to a certain extent better control the battlefield than Panzersniper, but I do think he's missing out on some good opportunities there. Another Panther on the way for Panzersniper. Meanwhile, Sniper heading northwards here. Grenadiers setting out again, pushing for the extra points, pushing for the fuel points. Meanwhile, Grenadiers here versus Sappers and sections. Massive British assault there. Panther could it be in support of the Grenadiers? Nope. Grenadiers back, quick fall back. A lot of damage down there. Grenadiers sent running. Vickers unleashing death upon the Grenadiers' unfortunate backs as well. So many Panthers from Panzersniper, yet no Panzer Grenadiers. In fact, he's getting another sniper, but no Panzer Grenadiers. Bit disappointed there. Bit disappointed. Section taking southwards, grabbing territory again, focusing on the victory points, focusing on trying to sort of hold the bleed, but also increase the bleed on Panzersniper that way. And he's close getting back to be able to get a Comet. If you get the Comet to work with a Cromwell, that would not be a bad thing. And again, some kind of vehicle expendable with designated command vehicle, I think would also work out quite well there for Henkajumper. Sections are running there by the Panther. First Panther there, closing in on Veterancy 2. Sappers sitting northwards. Troops grabbing points in the south. Bit of trading back and forth there of territory.
Our machine gun turret has been installed.
Sappers screaming about, but they getting caught here with the Pioneers and the Panthers. The armoured fist of the Reich. Frowning away, plus of course the Panzerwerfer. Because there could be a trouble with that, is what he's aiming for, and it is wiping the Vickers crew. Sapper forcing northwards. Cromwell and Sappers sending Grenadiers running, wiping them up, possibly in the process there, forcing Panzer to get more replacement troops. There we go, Grenadiers wiped. A mine taking out the last poor devil there. Otto will not make it back to Deutschland. There you go, Panther running forward. Sappers right in front of the machine guns and the main guns, getting sprayed with bullets. Larry falling down. Breath and life having abandoned his body. Sappers are finally against the Pioneers for the veterancy bonus, giving them cover there. They are suddenly a lot more potent than these Pioneers, except they're quite awfully spaced. Cromwell breaches through, but there goes straight behind the Panthers. Quickly trying to knock them out. No, gets away. Decides not to engage and try and get off a few hits there, which is probably the best. Oh, another Pioneer white Panzersniper suffering excruciating infantry losses. There we go, exposed himself needless into the Panthers. Quickly a wipe there. Veteran 2, and there we go. We got War Speed trying to blitz away from the Panthers, but there you go. Panther blitzes forwards, and this time just stops off before pulling back. Is the Panther ready to fire? Yes, we're trying to knock out the anti-tank, which is now perfectly sort of positioned right next to each other and could be sort of wiped quickly. Another anti-tank gun for Henkajumper, though he's very close now to another Comet. No Panther for Bowers there. That's a missed opportunity there against the anti-tank guns. More Pioneers for Panzersniper. The most of the veteran crews there. Hanging about there. Under Lieutenant Dietrich. recently promoted after his previous commanding officer was blown to bits, having accidentally stepped on a mine.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Very close escape there for the Grenadiers. Panzersniper desperately short in infantry. He's got more tank than he's got infantry. Not really frightfully good. But the Pioneers to some extent obviously count, but they do lack a bit the durability and the range. And still then he should have more Pioneers than that. Sadly they don't quite get the same bonuses for some than the Sappers do. And there we go, another Comet on the way for Henkajumper. Really bleeding up Panzersniper there, while stemming the bleed there. Another artillery cover has been prepared to fight the Panzers to give the British the advantage wherever need be. And certainly if you're going to fight them, at least trying to make the situation much of an advantage, and certainly the artillery cover zone will certainly do. Oh, mine hit Panther in dire straits. Pioneers nowhere. Oh, somewhat nearby actually. Ooh, got a whack there by the looks of it, or sound of it. Some poor bastard paid the ultimate price for frustrating the Führer. And there you go, almost fitting to flee on the Panzerwerfer. Bad news for Henkajumper, since that means he can just fire from further back away. Comet almost done there. Plenty of fuel there for Panzersniper. Still more infantry. I really don't think if you're bothering with that many snipers when he desperately lacks infantry to hold back British forces. There you go, Betty 2 for the Panther, getting hit from the anti-tank guns. Trying to get away with them. There you go, we got artillery cover down again! Again! There's the third artillery cover here. That's got to be a record for a 1 versus 1 battle. 3 artillery cover usages. Panther there escaping, shot after shot, flies after it. Comet following up here alongside a wall of anti-tank guns, ready to frustrate any German counterattack. But there goes that coming a bit further up here, perhaps too close. Right to the line of fire, they're the Panthers, and they are more than happy to return fire at the Comet. But he's going to need some infantry to clear through this, because the anti-tank guns are less than impressed by the Panthers. Going to do their flanking, getting some hits off there. Veteran T2, Panther barrage, perhaps another big fit there to the 6-pounder guns, and the attack 40 there, pilfered away. In this case, they're hitting absolutely nothing. And Henkajumper here making them smart move, actually just slightly, well, quickly diverging up instead of just going for the straight path there, which was what Panzersniper was banking on. In this case, though, the artillery cover was a bit wasted there for Henkajumper. Didn't manage to do much, though still forced Panzersniper to pull away, which might have then, of course, been one bit, but 250 missions just for that might be a bit much. Might. And he's going for a Sturmpanzer. We're actually seeing a Sturmpanzer, but no Panzer Grenadiers, no additional Grenadiers. I really think, again, that's a huge gap here. Panzersniper needs to overcome. Perhaps, again, the officer. I mean, the officer would also benefit from just being able to lay down smoke, which could be useful in helping the Panthers either attack or defend. Victory points wise, things are all beginning to go against them again, though Henkajumper needs to quickly push from the south. Battle point there. It's also interesting to note Henkajumper has yet to use any other ability than artillery cover. Comparatively, we've got Ostturben, trenches, supply drop zones, and railroad support there for Panzersniper. Sturmpanzer almost done there, the Stupa. Almost gets into free there. British troops heading southwards finally, and also to note he's not got any weapon rack at all. No Bren guns, no nothing. Perhaps he hasn't even felt the need for it because again Panzersniper's overall been very low in infantry, which I think again is still a bit of a mistake there. He's got the arm advantage, of course. Let's come and use there. Go 6-pounder gun there. Go blitzing right through. Again dodging most of the anti-tank to some extent. The armor helping out a bit there. Oh, bit of trouble still. Getting right past the anti-tank, a bit layered here this time around. Still struggling to keep up with the Panthers. Blitzing away again. He might lose a Panther, Panther down. Ah, that wasn't quite as well executed there for Panther. Now still got the Comet. Had the Panther been ready, he might have been able to do better. Had he had some infantry, they could perhaps work on the anti-tank guns while the Panthers kept the Comet running and such. It might have worked out better. But I wouldn't say a Panther for a Comet is quite worth it, though he's still got his Vet 2 Panther halfway to 23. Meanwhile, Panzer 4 rolling ahead, firing its 75mm, not 75, 150 actually, moving the gun. Ready to blast any Tommies to very, very tiny bits. Almost got the 6-pounder gun crew. Panzerwerfer firing.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Anti-tank gun wrecked. Trying to shoot through here, not quite succeeding. Too much terrain. British infantry clamping up east targets for the Sturmpanzer if they're not careful. Pintelmad MG going up as well. Close hit there, but not quite. And just more pioneers for Panzersniper. Losing further and further ground here to Henkajumper, who's got no armor body, and he's just got plenty of infantry, but he's not quite using, I think, in a way that he's strategically the most sound, which again just having at least some elements pushing for ultra, though the Vickers he's got up is quite good, though he needs to set up a bit further back. There's actually a gap that they can hit through, whereas here he can still sort of defend it, or actually here might work better, but still keep a watch of it. So no, not the best position of a Vickers machine gun, I would say, there by Panzersniper. Sappers moving in this case they should be able to be stopped by it. There you go, Henkajumper realised that's a pretty bad situation. Henkajumper close to another Comet. Will Panzersniper try to go for another Panther? Will actually try and go for some more infantry? What will these two players do? 51 versus 1 and 26. This is going to be close.
The enemy has only 50 points remaining.
Quite the fight here. Quite long, but also full of surprises. A lot of armoured battles. Panther receiving lots of repair. Panzer 4 rolling ahead. Also rare side of actually seeing someone use all 3 vehicles from the heavy Panzer Corps. Crikey. There we go, moving ahead, 6-pounder guns ready to move up. There we go, full British assault there straight into the Vickers. Sturmpanzer shoots, blast one of them apart bits, but Sturmpanzer has to fall back in the face of the British anti-tank weaponry. Knocking out too quickly there with no support there and nothing to scout for it. The Sturmpanzer there is rather weak and is ultimately knocked out rapidly by the sheer amount of anti-tank fire that, well, Henkajumper can muster. That was not the most sound move there. Perhaps there's a few signs of desperation from Panzersniper, or recklessly throwing his units away in a desperate bid to just close the gap here. It's not getting the elements that are probably some of the best in that department, which is just, infantry and machine guns. Some Panzer grenadiers supported by MG42 I think could do quite well here. He's just not considering it. In fact, he's handed back the Vickers there to Henkajumper and the Guards armour. Panzersniper. He's actually getting another Panzerwerfer. Panther sending a section there running halfway to eventually increase mobility and rate of fire. That would be very good for him. Going for the fuel points though. Sappers versus Pioneers, Flamethrower versus Sten guns, in cover versus not in cover at all. And as I said, running is again, got another push there from the Sappers. Looks like it's largely just the Sapper companies of the Guards armour that sort of dispatched this fight.
Taking our territory.
I'm still surprised there's been absolutely none of this.
The
overall Henkajumper I think could easily benefit from going more from this doctrine, to be honest. So it is a bit surprising he isn't. And that's actually another artillery cover prepared here for Henkajumper. Mines down here, desperate bits to just blow up the bridge. Oh, they're right in the middle of the minefield now. Panther fires. Oh dear, they actually had the gap there. Right to retreat, that's just awkward for Panzersniper. These further losses there, actually raining down. And there we go, that's 33, 32 kills to the Panzerwerfer. Another Comet for Henkajumper. More mines, he's just desperately now mining every point. He really wants just to bleed out his opponent. He wants to make it hard for him to grab the points, which makes sense. But he needs more infantry, and there you go, moving up here. I think he's trying to bombard straight into the base here, trying to catch some units. No, slit shot around here. Got a few kills, but overall not a lot there for the Panzerwerfer. Panther covering up here, charging in though now, recklessly. Needs to be careful, don't want to end up like the Sturmpanzer. That'll be a loss I don't think Panzersniper could easily overcome, if at all. Where is the infantry? He's really just relying on everything and just one Grenadier, one Pioneer and a Sniper
Enemy
now.
forces are securing our territory.
Yeah, and there we go. Comet has arrived as well here for Henkajumper. Again. Down south, successful assault there by Panzersniper, spearheaded by the Panther, secures the southern victory point. 100 points versus 32. Bankrupt to cover the cut-off point. This is going to be 10 to New York. There we go. Comet striking northwards. Almost got the Sniper. The veterans who flee Sniper. One of Germany's finest. Wiped. And he's getting a fourth Panther. No, not fourth, just think, but still so many Panthers, yet no infantry. I think Panzersniper might be a bit over-focused on some things. Bit of tunnel vision. I mean, he's doing quite well with his Panther to a certain extent, but they can't really just carry all the fight. They have, a lot of infantry. Sappers moving into the Grenadiers here. Up close though. They definitely stand a good chance there of defeating the Grenadiers. With that light machine gun. Got the Grenadiers rapidly falling and dying and getting wiped out. There we go, no light machine gun drop. We got the Comet moving in, clearing up the mines as well. Panzerwerfer's firing way home to silence some targets. 74 points versus 32. He's got no control of any of the victory points coming about their Panther down. He's getting the other Panther, but still no infantry. Not even Ostrom in desperate calls to stem the flow, the loss. It's like an open leg wound right now. If not just outright having lost a leg and just bleeding out that way. Getting the northern victory point, but for how long? Can he hold it? Got a massive counterattack in there from Henkajumper, and still he's basically got the artillery courage to break the armoured fist there of Germany if need be. I mean, he's very much focused, he just wants to bleed it out here. Panthers moving in there from Panzersniper. Anti-tank guns ready. He pretty much banked on him just moving up. Then there you go, calling up the artillery cover as well. Further ready to break the German armoured fist here under British artillery. There we go, Panther taking damage engine. Comet moving in. Panther's pulling it, got a gun load, injured on the other one. Lost smoke there, and the Panther assault is broken off. At the same time, he's fortifying around the other points. No? Yes, Vickers? And what else? Trenches, perhaps? Yes, trenches! He's digging trenches on the victory point, sitting in there, ensuring. And even if he rushes in, Panzersniper can't hope to push him off easily. That's definitely one way of contesting a VP. Trenches.
Pioneers ready for assignment.
32 versus 34. Panzersniper could end up losing despite having, the sizable armor advantage. He just doesn't have the infantry to make it work.
Do not let them defeat us.
Panzerwerfer unleashing hell. Murdering away but not getting any closer to the victory points. He's even getting entrenched up here, even with the Vickers covering it. He's taking 0 chances here, Henkajumper. 0 chances. He is playing it as safe as you can. Though he's not setting up the final trench here. Though he's lacking the section to do so, I suppose that explains. But there you go. Ostrom now being rushed forwards in a desperate attempt there by Panzersniper. But it's already too late. And there we go. GG, ladies and gentlemen. GG, game over. Henkajumper wins this, having had a rough start there under the constant pressure of the Panzersniper. A certain inevitable flaw that appeared in Panzersniper, and that was the infantry. He never quite seemed to fully understand how this Ostrom strategy works in the longer run. He could sort of keep up pressure, but he could never sort of properly hold ground and probably bleed Henkajumper. He lacked some more heavy infantry. He lacked Panzer Grenadiers. Or just more Grenadiers with MG42s behind them, or officers. This is the infantry was clearly, I think, sort of a bit of a gap in that sense. I suppose Panzersniper lived up to his name. He was very sort of good at focusing on certain things, but he never could quite see the bigger picture, which allowed Henkajumper to outplay him to a certain extent. Though Henkajumper, I think, would have benefited from an earlier doctrine and quicker use of field recovery operations to give him a bigger resource boost that way. Command vehicles, I think, would also help Henkajumper and perhaps some weapon upgrades. But overall, well played there, rule. Good use of, interesting use of trenches, good use to some extent, alright use of armour, those despite finding underwhelmed, basically outnumbered several times, but making use of artillery cover to basically stem the tide there. But Panzersniper, though, made really good use of Panthers. He just needed the infantry to work with it to really make it work. I think he also went for too many Panzerwerfers. But still, some very interesting play here from these two players on Holotny Ferma. Definitely rare fight. So many armoured cars, so many trenches. So many things we just rarely see. So many Panthers, Comets, Sturmpanzers, Panzerwerfer as well. Some of those we see more often, but still just in one fight. Amazing. So I really hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. I hope it gives you decent matches. If you did, want to subscribe, tell a friend, share it with everyone. If not, send in a replay or provide some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Lynching. Cheers. Thank you all for watching and hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye.